Hello everyone, I'm Maria Heller. This is the third video in our series discussing Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles. Please watch the first two videos in the series before continuing with this one. In the first video, we talked about our background, what attracted us to the series, when we started reading these books, and we also made the top of our favorite books from the Chronicles. We also explained that we didn't read this series in order and mentioned which books we didn't read yet. In the second video, we discussed in more detail our top favorite books from the series, and we also discussed all the plots that we didn't like from the entire Chronicles. And today, in this video, we're going to discuss all the plots we loved, and we're going to mention the scariest and weirdest moments from the series. Enjoy! We're explaining some moments and plots that we liked, the entire plot of Marius and Armand being a couple,
Yes.
even though I wanted more, so much more. Affection and intimacy, please. Not even saucy bits, just affection. I want more affection from them.
You have enough affection from me. We really loved Lestat's backstory when he was alive, the story of his family.
Mhm.
I absolutely love Gabrielle. I want more Gabrielle.
Mm.
If I don't know, there are still books I didn't read. I hope there's some Gabrielle in them.
So there are moments that I remember vividly, like descriptions, and one of the things that I remember is Lestat as a mortal man with his dogs. I think he was sleeping next to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I remember that so vividly, and it was so touching to me when in The Tale of the Body Thief, after he exchanged the bodies and he was mortal again, he got a dog.
Mm.
It was such a tie to Lestat's life as a mortal, and I don't know, it was so touching, even though I'm not a dog person. It was touching.
Mm.
I really loved him interacting with that dog in that entire book.
Mm-hmm.
Was so heartwarming. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really remember very vividly is Armand running through the snow with that bundle
Mm-hmm.
before he was kidnapped.
Yeah.
I don't know, I remember that so vividly.
He was called Andrei, then
Yeah.
not Armand.
Yeah. He should have kept that
Also,
name.
when is Armand going to change his name again?
Yes, so his Russian name before he was kidnapped was Andrei. Then his name with Marius was Amadeo,
Yes.
which is perfect for that time. And then his satanic cult name was Armand. And after he's done with the satanic cult,
He needs a modern day name.
he's due a name change.
Yes.
I really don't like the name Armand for him.
No, I don't like that name at all.
And we're pronouncing it weirdly.
Well, you're
People
gonna
say Armand, which is even worse.
Yeah. I'm sorry. There are names we just can't pronounce how she wants us to.
Moving on, another plot we really love. Is it a plot? No, it's a thing. The Talamasca.
Yes, the Talamasca and how beautifully it's woven in most of these books. In the witches too. I just love it. It's almost like, I don't know, if you read her other books about the life of Jesus, do you see there a Dutchman too with a funny hat? Yeah, haven't read those, but
Yeah. I really like the Talamasca and how they're infiltrated in the vampire world and in the witches too. They're much more developed in the witches.
yeah, for
But
better or worse.
yeah. So the whole Talamasca thing, I really loved it. Minus that takeover thing in Lasher.
Yeah,
We're not counting that. We're not
No.
talking about the witches. Anyway, David.
David and Aaron. Oh, I love them so much.
Yeah. But does Aaron appear?
Aaron is just in the witches.
I don't know.
Anyway, I love David.
Yeah.
And David's story is something that I remember from Merrick. I don't remember much of the plot in Merrick, but I remember David's story. And I just like how the Talamasca is always taunting with the vampires, and how they collect the little tidbits and
Of their,
lives.
yeah, kind of like artifact of vampire existence.
I don't really like about the Talamasca that whole thing with the Knights Templars. I don't really care about the Knights Templars, but it's still interesting. Another plot we loved. Memnoch taking the stud to heaven and hell, and the story of creation. But we mentioned it a million times.
Mentioned it. We love that entire plot.
Yeah.
Another thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about why I love Queen of the Damned is her family tree.
Oh yeah.
That gave me chills when she revealed that family tree and how she watched her family grow. Yeah. I don't know.
But it's also such a sad thing.
Yeah, because she wasn't there. And
Yeah, but it's also sad because of the whole Cayman connection. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel so sad for them. We liked the origin of the vampiric curse, the plot with the twins. We went over it a million times.
If you liked the story of how the vampires came to be, you have to read The Witches. It's so similar to the spirit that's haunting the witches. The spirit that started prickling them.
Yeah.
And then went into them and transformed into this vampiric blood. The story of how that spirit came to be and gather power and so on is so similar to the spirit in The Witches.
Yeah.
You can really tell that it's the same canon because the same laws
And you
apply.
just can't expect them to merge together. I know they do. I'm a bit terrified to read it, but they were always in the same universe in my head because of the origin stories.
Yeah, and because of the Talamasca that exists
Yeah.
in both.
Yeah.
You're like, those two are actually connected.
This is not really a plot, it's more of a scene. Lestat emerging from under the altar
Yeah.
in his first years of being a vampire,
Yeah.
all the shenanigans.
Yeah.
That's peak Lestat.
Lestat is not my favorite character, but I really loved his very dramatic moments.
Yeah.
Such a drama queen.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and when I read Armand, without reading, I don't know, Armand is like... Armand is book 7, and I read it as like book 2? 3, maybe? So, Lestat was just laying on the floor of a church. Was that a church?
Yeah. It was Dora's monastery.
Yeah. So the entire book, Lestat was just laying there, and I didn't know why, because I didn't read the books previous to that.
Yeah.
But I didn't necessarily need an explanation.
No, it's just Lestat. Of course, he's going to be catatonic for a century if he feels like it.
Yeah. Other moments we loved?
Armand breaking down Marius's door.
Oh,
and
yeah.
what followed.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was peak brat moment.
Yeah. That boy needs a brat tamer.
Yeah.
Marius talking to the elders that were burned.
I like that.
I think this is from Lestat. He was telling Lestat a story.
I think. Even though I don't like how those who must be kept turned out to be.
There were good stories.
Yeah, the stories that led up to them. The story of Marius trying to understand what's up with them from the elders in his time when he was a newly made vampire are very good. Regardless of how Akasha turned out.
Oh, another thing that we loved is how Lestat found Marius by leaving graffiti all over.
Yeah. And this is a series, we should have said this in the beginning, this is a series that is filled to the brim with very long dialogues. And that's something you either love or hate. And if you don't like that, I don't think you can like the series.
Yeah.
If you like reading things happening in real time and action and stuff, this is not a series for you.
Yeah, it's not.
But I think this, I don't know, the ability to make very long dialogues interesting is a skill, and she has that skill.
Yeah.
And
it's important not to forget the replies.
Yeah.
Because the dialogue is literally
pages and
pages.
Yeah. And I really like that about her writing style. I love monologues. I love reading monologues. I love reading kind of like, I don't know how to say it, like characters philosophizing, trying to figure out things for themselves, you know, telling the reader their theories of the world. I really love reading that. So not just monologue, random monologue, but like a deep dive into understanding concepts. Kind of monologue. And descriptions. I love her descriptions.
Yeah.
And I will never understand people who don't like long monologues, introspection, and descriptions. This is what
books are made of?
Books are made for. Like, go watch a movie. If you don't like long monologues, descriptions, introspection, very deep introspection, and you just want action scenes, go watch a movie.
Yes, that's relationship with David.
How he teased him.
Yeah, when David was old.
Yeah. And he started visiting him and all the conversations they had. I loved always in her entire series those long discussions that the characters have, you know?
Yeah, how they always talk about the meaning of life and the good and the evil, and you see how different characters have different points of view and different convictions.
And I even like the long dialogues that almost feel like monologues. Basically, Interview with a Vampire is a monologue.
Yeah.
And she has this way of dialogue, but it's not really dialogue. One of the characters is just listening, and the other one is like pouring their entire life story.
Yeah.
And I think she has that with David when he told Lestat stuff about him.
I remember the teasing.
Well, he told he told Lestat about the coffee shop in Paris.
Yeah.
That entire story. And I think also about his background and whatnot, and youth and
Armand's relationship with Daniel.
Yeah.
That's
I like that
so
one.
I don't know. Makes sense. It is Armand TM.
Yeah. I really liked the how do they say? Ceva science. Chemistry. Yeah.
Maria.
Okay. I really liked their chemistry and how Armand was teasing him and kind of like haunting him.
Yeah, haunting him literally like a ghost.
And he didn't turn him. For a long period of time, he didn't turn him. He was just teasing him with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brat.
Yeah.
And I will forever have that scene in my mind. You say it, I know it's the same.
What I really liked is when Daniel kind of lost his patience. I remember a scene when he lost his patience and he started throwing things at him and screaming profanities at Armand. And I don't know, Armand was just amused. Another thing I remember is how Armand was sitting on a chair in the corner of the room watching Daniel have sex. Yeah.
Brat.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing, to have a brat that you can't,
to have a brat that's so much stronger than you, which you can't put in its place.
Yeah. Another bratty and a bit homoerotic thing is that scene, or I don't know how to say, that part where Marius took Armand to that feast back in Renaissance
Yeah,
times.
I remember that. I remember that feast because I remember that man who asked Marius to sell Armand to him or give Armand to him or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. And then he begged to at least let him kiss him. Yeah, I remember that. I don't know. It sticks with me.
Oh, Lestat being mortal again.
That was the funniest thing in the entire series.
And I don't like comedies.
No. But Lestat struggling to be mortal again. It's one of those things that all the vampires wish they would be human again. So many of them would give up their immortality to be human for a human lifetime and then just die like a normal human. And they would do that. They would take that offer if it was available. Because they forgot completely how it is to be human. And they're like glamorizing it and romanticizing it so much in their mind. They forgot all the discomfort, everything that comes with being alive, all the pain, discomfort, annoyances,
Yeah.
and so on, all the needs.
The little aches and pains, the
Yeah.
hunger, you're always hungry.
Yeah. And this is definitely true of Lestat. He completely forgot, and then he was put in a human body, and suddenly, wow, you get hungry, you get cold.
You get sick?
Cold doesn't feel nice, being cold.
No.
Being sick doesn't feel nice. Having to go to the bathroom. Yeah, that was very funny.
At least he was not a woman.
Yeah, that would have been funnier.
Lestat having the audacity to go to Louis and ask him to make him a vampire again.
If there's one vampire in this entire series that hates being a vampire, that's Louis.
Yeah.
And if there's one vampire who would do anything to be mortal again, that's Louis. Like more than anyone else.
To be mortal and die.
Yeah. And Lestat having the audacity to go to him and ask him to turn his new mortal body.
Oh my god, I will forever remember that moment when Lestat was there and he went in Louis's room as a mortal and he tried to communicate with him telepathically that he's Lestat, and Louis just didn't hear anything because he can't read minds, and Lestat being choked to death was like, you piece of shit, you
Never could read minds.
not even mortal minds. I'm gonna die because you're stupid. Marius painting Armand with black wings. And that painting ending up in the Talamasca vaults.
Yes.
I want to remake that painting.
Yeah.
Armand reuniting with Marius in Queen of the Damned.
I cried. That was a very emotional moment for me. Oh, yeah. It was very emotional because I read Armand before Queen of the Damned.
Yeah. Can you imagine how bland it would be if you just...
Yeah, if you just read Queen of the Damned without Armand first.
I mean, you
That's
knew that
that
they...
reunion would have been... Meh, what do I care?
I mean, you knew they had a relationship because Armand told Lestat.
That wasn't the build-up, the entire story.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was just a few pages.
I stand by my... not even choice. By my... I stand by my choice of reading Armand before Queen of the Damned. Even though I didn't do it on purpose. But I just think it's better to read it that way.
Yeah. We love Maharet's story and her family tree.
Oh yeah. So I was obsessed with the Legend of the Twins, but I also liked her character in the modern times. And that house she had and that family tree really gave me chills. And I don't know, her and Cayman, I don't know.
They're such a tragic
Yeah.
couple.
They're not a couple. They're like a tragic... I don't know.
Tragedy.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I wanted more from that. I wanted... So I was glad that they met up again and they were friends. But I wanted more of a...
Conversation.
Yeah. or like a conclusion of
Mhm.
both of them saying that's in the past and we can be friends now or something, you know?
I remember Cayman's story. How he woke. He woke himself
Mm-hmm.
in like a new century, and he was just stumbling into the world, trying to find his footing.
Yeah.
I just related to that. I don't know, it feels like waking up from a depression or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The little vampire community they had in the desert in Maharet's house.
Yeah, I like that, and I wish they stayed there.
Or even if they didn't stay longer, I wish it would have been...
A tradition for them to visit, like once a year or something, you know? Or-
I would read a spin-off just about them spending like 2 weeks together and
Yeah.
playing board games.
Yeah. I mean, she explained many times that they're not social creatures, but humans are social creatures. I mean, I'm very antisocial, but I want to read about them being together, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're talking about the scariest slash grossest parts in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that were genuinely scary. So one of the weirdest things for me were those monks in the beginning of Armand's origin story, that were burying themselves in dirt and starving themselves. I since then learned that that's a thing. It's called self-mummification.
Mm-hmm.
It was so creepy and so just so creepy and so
I honestly, when I read it the first time, I was like 15, 16.
Mm.
I thought it's made up.
yeah.
I didn't think it exists in our life, in our
Yeah.
world, that someone in history actually did that.
Mm. Another thing that was creepy, even though I didn't like that plot at all, but it was scary and creepy, was those satanic worshippers, vampires, their entire coven system and how they lived
Like rats.
like rats. Like, I understood their stupid philosophy. I still found it stupid, but the way they lived was disturbing.
Another scary, gross part, which I liked, but it's a bit too horror for me. Magnus, the blonde boys that he kept
Oh
kidnapping.
yeah, before he found Lestat.
Yeah.
That was creepy. That was really creepy.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that I was reading and it was getting kind of late for me to read something like that, and I just needed to watch some anime before going to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the entire wolf killer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another super creepy thing, like, if not the scariest in the entire series, is Memnoch. Before he revealed himself, the steps.
Mm-hmm.
The steps that Lestat heard following him. It was so scary because Lestat by that time was a very strong old vampire with unbelievable power. And if he was scared of something...
Yeah, by that time he already had blood from Akasha.
Yeah. If he was scared of something, well, then I was scared of that something.
Yeah.
It was so creepy.
Even if I reread Memnoch now, and I know it's him, it still scares me so much hearing those. I mean, I almost hear them myself.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I almost hear like it's hooves on cobblestones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, well, it's not there, but the ordinary man was, I don't know, such a concept.
Yeah, it's there.
I know, but it's not on the creepy list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Luis and Claudia visiting the village in Serbia, or where was it?
I don't think it was mentioned. I think they just said Eastern Europe.
Sure.
I know why Anne Rice rejected the whole vampires come from Transylvania, idea because she wanted to make her own origin story.
And because vampires come from Transylvania, has to do with Vlad Tepes, and it's 15th century, not early enough.
Yeah, that's very recent. If you want an origin story that's much older, like she wanted, you
Like
have to...
Neolithical.
Yeah, you have to go somewhere else. So I understand why she rejected that entire idea. I just didn't like how she rejected it. Kind of, oh, Eastern Europe, that place where it's still medieval times forever.
I mean, it's okay when we say it, but
Yeah.
girl, I
Yeah.
don't know, a bit of cheek.
But the part where Luis and Claudia went and visited that village was really creepy. The way those vampires acted and lived was really scary.
Mm.
They were like werewolves or something. Like, almost seemed like they didn't... You couldn't communicate with them.
Mhm.
It was creepy.
When the spirit started prickling.
Yeah, that was creepy.
I mean, when you're reading the story of the twins,
Mm-hmm.
you literally don't know what's going to happen.
And how that spirit became more and more powerful and started having more and more effect on the physical world.
Mm.
It was very creepy. And the part about prickling them and drinking their blood.
Mm-hmm. Also, the very scary, it was what happened to the twins in The Queen of the Damned.
Mm-hmm.
How they were punished.
Their punishment was barbaric to another level. So it was like threefold. First, it was the rape. Then it was the mutilation.
Mhm.
And then their separation.
Yeah. Oh my god, and that part with their mother's brain
Yeah.
falling.
That's also one of the moments that, when I think about the Vampire Chronicles, like I described those images,
Mhm.
Lestat sleeping with his dogs, Armand
Mhm.
running through the snow, and that one with their ritual being interrupted before they could do that ritual cannibalism thing,
Yeah.
is another moment that's so ingrained in my mind.
Yes, and something most people don't know is that ritualistic cannibalism was a thing in early cultures.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have discovered that without Anne Rice, without having a little gateway into
Mhm.
something like this.
Yeah. I really like how she takes things from the real world and waves them into
Yeah.
her story with supernatural things invented by her, you
Mhm.
know? And somehow she makes it look like it's all part of the same story.
Armand going into the sun at the end of Memno.
Yeah, that was scary. That was scary because I love Armand.
And you wanted to see him redeemed, fixed, put himself together, go to therapy, get a puppy, something.
Yeah. That was really scary.
So
And I cried so
scary.
much.
I
Yeah.
just wanted confirmation that he didn't die.
Yeah.
Marius's story. And the vampire that was trapped under the tree.
Oh yeah, that was creepy.
With the Celts?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it in English?
Celts.
Celts?
Yeah, I think so. So the story with how Marius was chosen,
Kind of kidnapped.
kind of
Yeah.
kidnapped,
Yeah.
held prisoner until his hair grew,
Convinced. Yeah.
convinced to take this task of... What was even the task? Finding out what happened to those who must be kept?
No, he was supposed to live there under the tree to be a
Oh, yeah.
replacement.
Yeah, he was supposed to be replacement. So there was a vampire living in a tree. It was really creepy how it was described, that vampire that lived in that tree and was only fed at that festival,
Yeah.
and how emaciated he was and
Mhm.
starved. So the description of how he looked was so creepy.
Yeah. And later on, when I got into A Song of Ice and Fire, the Three-Eyed Raven really reminded me of that vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And how the vampires get, I don't know, they're almost hallucinating
Mm-hmm.
when they're not fed, and scary and frustrating was Akasha burning people left and right.
Oh yeah, when you didn't know if your favorite character will survive or not.
Yeah.
I was so scared. I remember being scared for Luis because he disappeared for a time. I don't know, that's how I remember it. And then when Lestat met him at the concert and he was there, I was like, he's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, creepy, scary, and gross. Armand's experiments with Claudia.
Yeah. I put that out of my mind. I don't even know where it was described. I think in Armand.
It's not an interview.
No, because I looked for it.
Because Luis doesn't know.
No.
Or didn't.
So he cut her head and attached it to a grown body. I don't know. I don't buy the fact that he thought it would work. I think he was just being a psychopath teenager.
Who just cuts animals open to see how they work.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, Armand. Armand cutting off Nikki's arms, locking him in a cell without his arms, but with a violin.
Yeah.
Makes sense with Armand. I hate Nikki. I would have totally done the same. If I
Okay.
had to put up with Nikki being genuinely annoying in my genuine life. But it was very creepy, the whole description. Yeah. I think that's about it.
Our candles are running out.
How are we going to see?
Thank you so much for watching. Yes, we still have another video from this series coming next week. That is going to be the last video from this series, and in it we're going to discuss how the Vampire Chronicles and the lives of the Mayfair witches influenced our lives. And we're going to end it by reviewing vampire couples from the Chronicles. Please subscribe if you liked this series so you don't miss the next video. Thank you for watching!